Hi, welcome to Second Earth and the News. We have a brand new segment today where we're going to be going over some of the most eclectic, strange, sometimes inspirational stories around the world. Basically things that you'd consider to be water cooler conversations that you might have with other coworkers at your job. So today I want to talk about a story about bravery and perseverance. So I believe that every once in a while, every one of us has this kind of feeling of hopelessness, like there's no silver lining ahead. And I think all of us feels this way one time or another in our lives. But some people have to face it head on. Otherwise, it's imminent death. So I wanted to share this story because I think it speaks a lot about the human spirit as well as the will to persevere. So reading from this New York Times piece by Brenier Kerr. It had been 17 days since anyone had seen Amanda Eller. Her car was spotted near a trailhead in a vast forest reserve in Hawaii. On Friday afternoon, less than an hour after her family announced a reward for information, rescuers found Miss Eller with a broken leg, sunburns and scrapes, and a torn meniscus in her knee. She was malnourished, dirty, but she was alive. So to me, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to share this article. It's because this woman wasn't just missing for 17 days. She had a broken leg, which is, if it was like the ancient times during the hunter-gatherer era, this would be basically a fatal injury. And on this particular occasion, she was not only able to manage and survive with an injured leg, one night actually sleeping in a den of wild boars, and even eventually succumbing to a state of crawling. She did all of this completely alone. Or was she? Which comes to the next point of this story. Miss Eller was eventually rescued when rescue workers discovered her way further into the forest than they had originally searched. Now check this out, and I quote, "Rescue workers had been combing the thickly wooded 1.5-mile radius around Mrs. Eller's car, but on a whim, the searchers in the helicopters on Friday decided to go further." On a whim? Now listen to what Miss Eller had to say about the trip.
"I heard this voice that said, 'If you want to live, keep going.' As soon as I would doubt my intuition and try to go another way, that's where it was telling me. Something would stop me. A branch would fall on me. I'd stub my toe or I'd trip. I was like, okay, there's only one way to go."
And this was with a broken leg, which occurred on the third day, so that's also something. She was eventually rescued in what was considered to be a rather treacherous area near a waterfall, and I quote,
"I looked up and they were right on top of me. I was like, oh my god. And I just broke down and started bawling."
And prior to her rescue, she had also stated that she was getting so skinny that she was really starting to doubt whether she would survive. But having listened to this voice, it in a way kind of comforted her and inspired her to keep going. The article finishes up by stating that she will make a full recovery from what she called
the spiritual journey.
So part of the reason why I want to share this article is that I wanted to talk about this quote-unquote voice, so to speak, that seems to come in when people oftentimes are deserted or in a life or death situation. So I've actually personally been in two. One was hanging off a cliff, free soloing for the first time with absolute no prior experience, and then having absolute no footholds underneath me or anything that I could see. So the moment that I would shift my weight to put my feet underneath, there was nothing there, basically. And the other one was a car crash where the car ended up flipping 4.5 times at some absurd 115 miles per hour. No, I was not driving. I was actually in the back seat, and I was, to be honest, completely unaware that the driver was going to drive that fast. But basically, as I remember, I just suddenly remember seeing the car fishtailing, and strangely enough, I actually heard a voice. And it was right before the car started to flip. It was speaking in what seemed like a normal speaking voice to me, like at a normal speed, but everything around me, like the reality itself, seemed to have been in slow motion. And as the car was fishtailing, the voice asked me very simply, why do drunk people survive accidents? I kid you not, it was actually asking me as if like it's like Aristotle or something. Like, really, you're gonna question me right before I die? Like, come on, man. But no, the point is that it did actually ask me, why do drunk people survive accidents? And I kind of responded in this mental way, because their bodies are relaxed. And then the voice spoke one last time and it said, well, then take a deep breath and relax. And strangely enough, in that kind of life or death harrowing situation, instead of clinging on to everything I had, I just kind of melted away into the seat, took a deep breath, and just relaxed, just like the voice had indicated. So when it was all said and done, the windows were blown out, the car had flipped 4.5 times, as I told you before, slid on its roof for like 275 feet. And look, I'm just gonna say, like, I was relatively unharmed, and I'm so unbelievably thankful. It was an absolute miracle that, for one, that all 4 of us survived. The doctor that I spoke with was very adamant when he saw the pictures of the car, which didn't even resemble a car anymore. It's as if you had just taken like some sheet of metal and like ripped it from inside out. And this doctor had kind of told me, like, look, son, you can start crying now. And I said, crying? What are you talking about? He goes, look, son, I've been in this business for 27 years, and I have never in my life seen an accident of that caliber and anybody survive, let alone all 4 of you. And that was when it kind of hit me, how dramatic the incident was. I think I might have been in a slight state of shock prior to that moment. And yeah, so the article definitely reminded me a little bit about that former experience that I had, where I heard a voice prior to what I consider to be a life or death scenario. Oh, and if you're wondering about the cliff, I actually did not hear anything on that cliff. You know, I just ended up having 3 panic attacks. I think I might have actually shat my pants. I'm not certain about that. But what I will say is that that was the best In-N-Out burger, best burger overall I've ever had in my entire life, the one that I ate that night. But, you know, mostly important, I just wanted to get the audience impression. Like, what do you think? Do you think when people are having these, you know, life or death type experiences in the hearing a voice, is this some kind of guidance? Is this spiritual ethereal forces that are out there that are trying to maybe guide us towards a certain goal? Maybe we intended something with our lives that was not done yet, so these guides are trying to get us to survive something that they see as impending. Or is this just a byproduct of our brain, some kind of evolutionary trigger that is essentially a survival mechanism that perhaps keeps us company when there's no hope or nothing left? So leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. Oh, and I almost forgot. Somebody had mentioned that they wanted to bring back the remote viewing session, and I was thinking, yeah, why not? That's a pretty good idea. So what I have done is I have set up a remote viewing. If for those who have never done this before, we're simply placing an image inside an envelope, and outside the envelope you're gonna have a certain code. Hopefully that code can be used to mentally track where the envelope is. We are in West Hollywood, California, if that helps. And yeah, here's the envelope, here's the code. For anybody, if anybody gets this, and people have gotten this correct, I will go ahead and plug you on my next episode, and even plug in a business or anything that you might want to share to the audience. I'll give you, you know, just kind of like a nice little segment or a little plug for being the psychic warrior of the episode. Now, I don't know if you guys ever seen this movie called Gattaca, but I just wanted to put it out there because it's absolutely one of my favorite films of all times. But the subject matter is very close to this. It's all about the human will, the will to not only live but persevere against all odds. So if you haven't seen Gattaca, definitely highly recommend that one. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this new format. This is Felipe Osorio. I'll see you guys next time. Signing out.